Hello everyone, welcome to Artefacto YouTube channel. My name is Prasad Beaven. I've been teaching with Artefacto for the past 3 years, around there. Please watch the video until the end so you don't miss anything, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
So I'm just gonna start this process and try to create a feeling of unity in the brush strokes. And I don't when I start painting, I don't like to take too long, because I like to work in a more fluent way, because then I create more fluency with the brush mark, and that's kind of important to me. So I'm just trying to create a fluency in the movement. Maybe here I can explore some warm colors instead. So I'm really doing a kind of something which normally you wouldn't, because normally to create perspective you use a cool color, but this time in this sketch I'll use a warm. Just I felt like it. So I'll see what happens there. And I like that movement there. So now this is what I mean when I say, when I start painting, it's like it's many possibilities, and I kind of let that guide me. So you can see the overall idea happening there. Maybe even splash a bit. What I do when I start as well is I also try to make the most important decisions, so that later on I don't need to worry too much about the overall composition, because the composition is there for me now, and it allows me to kind of maybe relax a little bit and start to fine tune it if needed. And it's a very interesting thing, because I had this idea, and there's always the chance that this idea, what I've drawn, kind of starts to take away the inspiration of the kind of spontaneity. And so what I'm just trying to almost forget about that and let what's happening here kind of guide me, and then when I need to refer back to it. And there's a nice idea of soft edges and hard edges that's happening. But here what's happening is the nice soft edge is happening, and there is also a hard edge there. And I'm not gonna create such contrasting colors in this. I'll try to keep them more in harmony by mixing them together, and that tends to gray it out a little bit more, but that's fine. Now I need to start creating some more darkness. And I'm doing it while it's wet. I can even let it move around. It's a really useful trick to creating works where the washes are kind of unified, letting it flow. And that's also part of the advantage of leaving the white of the paper, which is something I always like to do. For me, watercolor is, it has a few things which make it stand out. One of them is the washes, the use of washes, and also the vitality that you have in it, the feeling that the brush mark has just been made and it's there. These things, I think if you get them right, then you're kind of really speaking the language of watercolor. And maybe I'll even start moving it to this reference color. If you're interested and want to know more about watercolor techniques and the principles of painting, please register for my online workshop, Rhythm and Flow. You can do so via the link in the bio, and there we'll produce some fantastic paintings and we'll have a great time together. I hope to see you there. Thank you. I like that. There's a dark edge, because there's a little pocket here, but it's soft here and then dark. So it's like, the danger when you're creating like a window, almost like or a shape, is that it's kind of like all the same. That you create this window that's like, the danger is doing this. That's so boring. It's what you should avoid. And instead, try doing this. More interesting. Light, dark, gaps, breaking it. I just start lightening this and suggesting a light shape coming through there. Even soften this. I like conveying this idea of luminosity, luminance, this, enlightened shape. And this is, it's just a little bit too. You have to use tissue. And that's created like the feeling of light moving down. Maybe I'll come back in with a bit more blue. So I'm working in a very spontaneous way. It might be harder to follow because of that. But my goal is to make a nice painting, and of course, hopefully share something with you. But through making a nice painting, but it's sometimes easier to paint without any pressure. So I'm just painting for fun, just having some fun. And I also wanted to convey this softness. There's a lot of hard edges, here or there. So this, just this luminance, something, peering through. I think naturally it comes from some spiritual ideas as well, because I remember seeing this reference and being really stunned by it. And there's something very spiritual about it, the way that the light is just beaming through this tree. And it's kind of, that idea has stayed with me a lot. And so I'm just trying to create this softness of something. Hopefully it works. But I'm painting this, and it's a journey. It's a kind of, yeah. And I think I need to make this dark. I need to break up this horizontal line with some real darkness now, I think. That's some real contrast in there. Really go for it. I'll refer back to this nice reference here again. Maybe green it out slightly more. And create this subtle gradient. And I want to move it down as kind of horizontal movement, and then it has to come down. Maybe better put in this branch. And I think this needs to come lower down. That's a nice color, this light blue. Maybe I'll bring this dark shape further up. And zoop. I quite like that. That looks like the light tree is in front of the dark shape in behind. That's an interesting discovery. Quite like that. So just letting it disappear and appear. Luminance. We just lose some of this. Break up the shape a little bit more, just there. And so we have a dark shape and maybe just a bit more darkness. Yeah. And if I want to, I can really bring home this idea of this horizontal shape moving down. I'll try just a little bit like that, just to suggest this movement. And that's really now coming to the final shapes. I'll take my nice rigger and suggest a branch going through there. Oh. Working on a small table, so it's a slight balancing act. Maybe I'll just add some splashes down here. Chance to suggest some shapes and things in there. Even. Just play around with that a little bit. Thing is, when I'm painting here, I'm not in front of this scene, so I have to kind of interpret it in a different way that still makes it meaningful to me, and I do that by abstracting it in this way. I do that by trying to create unique meaning. Maybe just some darkness there. Just felt like it could do with some. Maybe I can lose some edges like this one down here. And can also scratch a little bit. Just suggested marks, just like so. So I'm just playing with it. I'm trying to create something arresting. And maybe there are some branches going through there. Some suggestions of details. Some small marks here and there. And do I need to do something with that? It's quite interesting, this line that's been created there. Just lose it a little bit. I need tissue. So yeah, it's really just kind of trusting my intuition with this as much as I can. I love when branches break out of a shape, but it's so easy to overdo it. But it's just so nice and suggestive. Okay. Okay. This is the dangerous part, you know, once you start using the rigor and scratching, you know, it's so easy to overdo it. Okay, well, that's the sketchbook gone. Now I'm left to my own devices. There's no plan B. Got to work with what I got. That's a beautiful thing as well that I learned, that sometimes sometimes I'd go out and I'd have like 5 pieces of paper, and I'd just say, look, it doesn't matter if I make a bad painting, I can always do another. But sometimes I'd go out with just one, and I put all this importance into it, and that really helped me actually to make good works, because at the end of the day, it's just you and this paper, you and this artwork that you're trying to make work, and this kind of intensity, because it brings out a certain intensity that no, I'm here, I'm now, I'm present, and I'm going to make this work. that you can't always get otherwise. So I think I'm pretty much there with this. Maybe just ever so slightly subtle half tone, just to bring out this branch. Like that. Do the same there. This nice idea of, you know, light branch and light and dark. And like so. This is where your understanding of form, where it comes handy, knowing how to create this, how to create it to stand out. To create a light, dark, and to create this idea of form. Okay. And maybe one little branch coming through there. Okay. And maybe I can just with softness again, suggest that just slightly less strongly than it was before. Maybe even just break it up there. Okay. And I think that's really coming to the end of it. Just a light shape in there. Yeah, playing around now. It's all just fun additions, really. There's not much else to do. Maybe just yeah. Okay. So, you know, when you're creating detail, you always have to consider it, create it with, you know, the idea of balance and harmony in the painting. You know, it's good to have areas which have no detail, which are empty, and areas which are detailed. So creating that right balance is important when adding things. And this is the part which is so hard to get right. I'll just add there's something dark there. Okay, that's pretty safe. And yeah, I think that's really the end of the painting. If I want to do any more, I can just soften one edge there, something like that. See if that does anything. Just a bit of luminosity, and maybe a tiny bit here. Just lose the edge. This is the bit where, you know, you can lose the freshness and the vitality of the work when you start doing this too much. So I'll leave that like that. And yeah, I'm finished there. Maybe that was too strong. Okay. Now, you know, it's a good time to finish once I start using tissue and all that.
So I hope you found the video useful, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, where we will help assist you with improving your knowledge of art and improving your skills, developing as an artist. And yeah, please register for the course. You'll find the link in the description. And I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.